I'll bet you thought that because there was no Premier Division fixtures you wouldn't get an extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Well, you are wrong. I'm sitting in Oriel Park recording this. Shelbourne have beaten Dundalk by 4-0 in the Leinster Senior Cup 4th round. Dundalk's 200th appearance in this competition didn't go particularly well. They weren't helped by the fact that Hayden Muller got sent off 5 minutes into the game. We'll have more on this a little bit later. We'll also look ahead to Monday night's Euro qualifier between the Republic of Ireland and France. Keith Treacy was watching France, well, tonight as I speak to you, beat the Netherlands by 4-0. So there does not appear to be any World Cup hangover, which is a bad thing for us. We'll also have a roundup of the First Division, where Galway have beaten Longford by 1-0. Bray have overcome Wexford 3-2, and Kerry have lost 1-0 to Athlone. Why am I not giving you the Finn Harps Cobh Ramblers result? Because as I record, that game is still going on. We'll have all that and more tonight, well, today as you're listening to the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. And it is with the Republic of Ireland that we start. France beating the Netherlands by 4-0. Keith Treacy watched the game and afterwards sent us this voice note.
Looking at it with me Irish eyes on, I'm looking for weaknesses and faults in the French, and the first thing that popped into my head was maybe Griezmann and Mbappe, with Mbappe just being given the captaincy. Maybe Griezmann would have the bottom lip out a bit and be sulking, and maybe there'd be a bit of discontent in the team. But 3 minutes into the game, Mbappe breaks free down the left, pulls it back to Griezmann, and Griezmann puts France 1-0 up, and they go over and give each other a big hug. And you could see straight from the off that the French are a real team and they're very, very together. There isn't any discontent in the French whatsoever. They look very, very strong. You can tell they're a World Cup finalist. Really, really good all over the pitch. They've so many weapons, very dangerous from set pieces, recover really quickly into their shape. Very, very dangerous on either wing. Mbappe, they play a 4-4-2 with Mbappe, and tonight it was Mawani up front. It might be Giroud and Dublin, but Mawani sort of does his own thing up front. He is the one, and then Mbappe is more of a free role. He doesn't do a lot defensively. Rabiot at times is the widest of the four. He's still very, very central. So Theo Hernandez can be got at as the French left back, but he's a very, very good 1v1 defender. And you know, if you're going to go and try and double up on him, if you lose the ball, you've got the pace of Mbappe that can really, really hurt you. And look, the French can hurt you all over the pitch. Some other standout players, obviously Antoine Griezmann, very, very good. Not only in his attacking play, the French only had 43% of the ball tonight, but the way they go after you when they have the ball, and it's usually set off by Antoine Griezmann. So he's such a dangerous player, a very important player from the French. And like I say, the fact that he hasn't got the bottom lip out and he looks bang in the mood for it is very, very worrying for us. And any of the back four, Koundé, Kanate, Upamecano, Hernandez, they all have the ability when they have the ball at the back just to put the afterburners on and step into the middle of the pitch and make things happen. So, look, there's threats all over the pitch. I do give Ireland a slight chance because there is holes in the French. As bad as the Dutch were tonight, they did have chances to hit the back of the net. Memphis Depay wasn't great. Weghorst, when he come on, wasn't too good. They won a penalty towards the end, and that was just by putting a little bit of quality into the box, and all of a sudden a defender throws his hand up and they find themselves with a penalty. So I think Ireland will need to do an awful lot of that, put the French defenders under an awful lot of pressure. But look, I think it's an uphill task. That having looked at what sort of form the French are in, you know, maybe again I was hoping with Irish eyes on there might be a bit of a hangover after losing in the World Cup final, but the French look really bang at it to me. So an uphill task looks really daunting on Monday, but we've had big nights before in the Aviva, so hopefully we can do it again.
This is the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and I'm joined on the pitch in Oriel Park by Damien Duff, the Shelbourne manager. Damien, a 4-0 victory here. Not only do you take the win, but I imagine you take something more than a victory tonight because you got a look at a lot of your squad.
Yeah, well, listen, I'd like to think I know the squad inside out anyway, but it was good to get the minutes. Yeah, it's a good win against, listen, a very, very competitive Dundalk team. They had a serious 11 out. So, no, great win for the guys, but I have to say the biggest plus is that everyone's come through unscathed.
David Toure, I think it was almost a year to the day that he broke his leg, but tonight he put in a great performance. It must be great when you see a guy bounce back like that and get back into the first team and play some ball.
Brilliant, yeah. Listen, that's why he was up around the first team before. He got his bad injuries. So, listen, I had to be hard on Davil, probably like a lot of them at times. Always trying to prod him and get the best out of him, and I think you saw the best of him tonight. But listen, yeah, absolutely, he's a young boy, the world at his feet in this league, and he's had a difficult year, but he's back, and I'm so pleased for him tonight.
It's David rather than David.
Yeah, I'm not trying to jazz it up. It's David Toure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a class name. He kind of lived up to the name tonight with some of his flicks and tricks. Evan Caffrey, look, he's a guy you've praised an awful lot. Tonight he got his first goal. I know it's the Leinster Senior Cup, and people might say it's only the Leinster Senior Cup, but does that kind of give a guy a boost of confidence, getting a goal like that and kind of, putting down a marker? Well, not putting down a marker, but an achievement like that. It's kind of it's a goal for players. They want to get their first goal. He's got it tonight.
It's a competitive game. It's a competitive senior goal. So listen, we give a few boys a round of applause in the dressing room after. Young boys making debuts, competitive debuts. Bemmy getting his first competitive minutes for the club, his first competitive goal. And the same with Evan, but he doesn't need a boost of confidence. Evan has been absolutely outstanding. He's playing every minute of every game for Shelbourne Football Club, his granddad's club, you would say, Theo Dunn. So it'll mean a lot to him, his family, and listen, Evan should be, I think he's a tall boy anyway, 6'2", 6'3", he should be standing 10 foot tall because he's been amazing.
You really went at it tonight. That was really impressive to see.
Who, sorry?
You really went at it tonight. That was like, as in, it was very clear right from the start you were going after this one.
Yeah, well, listen, the game's been a long time coming, and that was, I guess, the plan. And sometimes, you can create goals by playing nice football, and sometimes you can score goals from pure aggressive pressing, and I think a lot of our chances tonight just came from pressing and pressing high.
It's Derry next week. Is that one that you can really want to put in a performance in because of the cup final, or is that a complete irrelevance?
No, it's an irrelevant. It's the game was irrelevant to me the next morning. The boys did absolutely amazing getting there. Yeah, listen, they didn't put in their best performance. It was something that probably will live with them. But here, I've had many disappointments in my career, that being one of them. But it's long gone to me. The lads will be highly motivated next Friday just because it's a league game. It's live on TV and it's against a good bloody team.
If I can ask you one on Monday night, don't worry, it's not about tactics or your preview or anything like that. But Ireland are playing France. We always tend to step it up against the bigger teams and put in rousing performances. You've been part of that many times. Why do you think that is? What's in our mentality?
I don't know. We're Irish. You're on your own turf. I've said it many times before. Listen, if you can't get up for, playing, forget about Latvia the other night, playing in front of your home crowd against France, you're in the wrong game. So I'm expecting a big performance. I think France have had a great win tonight, I believe, 4-0 away to Holland, so that's what shows how bloody good they are. And there's many interesting things going on, including probably Mbappe, the best player in the world at the minute. So good luck to the guys.
Thanks, Damien.
Thank you.
This is the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Damien Duff, the Shelbourne manager, speaking to me after their 4-0 victory against Dundalk at Oriel Park in the Leinster Senior Cup 4th round. Now, when I looked at the fixture detail today and I saw 4th round, I thought to myself, really? I thought this was at the very least a semi-final. But there appears to be many rounds to the Leinster Senior Cup. Now, extratime.com contributor Dave Donnelly will tell you there aren't nearly enough. He loves it. But just to give you a clear picture, Shelbourne now will play they'll play Wexford in the quarter-final, with Bohemians awaiting in the semi-final. On the other side of the draw, Bray Wanderers will take on Usher Celtic. As Damien mentioned there, a lot of positives to come out of the match, not just the win, but Arubi came off the bench and got a great goal. Caffrey got the 3rd goal to make it 3-0 in the first half. A couple of goals from Moylan and Robinson put them in a very comfortable position. Dundalk not helped by Hayden Muller getting sent off 5 minutes into the game, and I have to say it was the right call. It was a straight red. Now, I mentioned earlier on that Finn Harps and Cobh Ramblers were still playing when I was recording my intro at Oriel Park. I'm glad I didn't commit to guesswork on a scoreline there, because it finished 2-2. Cobh Ramblers coming from 2-0 down in the first half with 2 Jack Doherty goals in the second to get the draw in Ballybuffet. After that match, Ramblers boss Shane Keegan spoke to extratime.com's Stuart Connolly.
We were atrocious in the first half, absolutely atrocious. 2 of the worst goals conceded I've ever been involved with. We should be absolutely kicking ourselves. And and it was very annoying because our preparation, we did everything we could in the last 24 hours to arrive here today in the best possible circumstances we could, given that the length it is away. So to then find yourself 2-0 down inside 15 minutes was infuriating, absolutely infuriating.
And it was the first goals you conceded on the road as well this season.
Yeah, it was, and it's the first goals they scored from open play as well. So it was just. I don't know. I'm nearly afraid to watch the 2 goals back. So I am. But look, the most important thing is we dug ourselves out of it. I don't think I've ever rattled off them as much as I did at half time. I just couldn't believe what I'd seen in the first half, and I told them to go and dig themselves out of it, and as individuals redeem yourself. And to be fair, every one of them did.
Whatever you said, it worked. And obviously Jack missed the penalty. You must be thinking it's maybe not our day, but absolutely. Then you dug in then and he gets two goals. That's 5 for the season now.
I suppose what saved us was the fact that he scored so quickly after missing the penalty. I think it was only 5 minutes or so between the missed penalty and him scoring. But look, Jack is a fella who his body language can betray him at times. I mean, even he looked almost like he'd given up almost for a moment in those 5 minutes after it, but Jack has incredible self-confidence, and he'll always have incredible self-confidence in himself. And if anybody's capable of digging deep and turning things around, it's him. He did an absolutely superb job to pull us back into the game with the help of a few more.
So he's still unbeaten on the road now, and you're flying high up the table at the moment. I know so there's only a few games gone, but it must be a good buzz around the club.
It is. Look, we were rock bottom last year, so to go from that to being where we are at the moment and being in the mix, like you say, it's still very, very early days. So it is.
A year's a long time of football, as
they say. It is. But look, I think I've seen enough over those few games to think that we can be in the mix for playoff spots, not for league titles. I don't think any of us really expect to be in there. I think Galway, Waterford, Bray will be the top 3 in my opinion. I find it hard to see anything other than that. Kerry will struggle a little bit just because it's their first year in the league, but the remaining 6 teams then the first division, I don't think there's anything between those 6 teams. I think any of them are capable. Completely open battle. 2 playoff spots left, I think, between the 6 of us, and it's going to make for a fascinating season.
Yeah, and any new signings? Keane, Neville, Carragher?
No, definitely. I wouldn't get in this team anyway. So
not at the moment, not in the form you're in.
That's it, yeah, exactly.
And Handsome Bob, is he here tonight now?
Handsome Bob is the most famous man in Ireland right now, so he is. He's I'll tell you what, his profile has gone through the roof in the last 24 hours. You couldn't meet a sounder man. He is Mr. Cobh, so he is, and I'm delighted for him, and no better man to embrace his newfound fame, I can tell you.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that is Cobh Ramblers manager Shane Keegan speaking to ExtraTime.com Stuart Connolly following their 2-2 draw away to Finn Harps. It's great to get a result when you go away from home. It's especially good when you go on your longest trip away from home. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is Tralee to Ballybuffet, as in Kerry FC's trip to Ballybuffet, longer? The answer is no. I have checked this. It's 4 hours and 46 minutes from Tralee to Ballybuffet. From Cobh, it's over 5 hours. I think it's 5 hours and 21 minutes. Or possibly longer. I don't remember exactly. But either way, Cobh to Ballybuffet is the longer trip. Bray to Wexford, not such a long trip. Wexford made the trip to second place Bray last night as you were listening. And after the game, ExtraTime.com reporter Aisling Hannon sent us this voice note.
Full time at the Carlisle grounds, and it finishes Bray 3, Wexford 2, and that's 6 games now unbeaten in the league this season for Bray. Their best start to a league season since 1996, and they sit second in the table now at the end of the night, and that's 12 points from a possible 18. So brilliant start to the league campaign for Bray. Couple of goals from Ben Feeney and a late one from Cole Amore Humvan gifted Bray the 3 points there tonight. Aaron Dobbs and Ethan Boyle on target for Wexford. And of course, 5 of Bray's starting 11 were part of the Wexford squad last season. Manager Ian Ryan coming in over the winter and bringing quite a lot of his former Wexford squad with him. Yeah, it was quite a frantic first half. It took just 6 minutes for Bray to get off the mark. It was Ben Feeney scoring his 3rd goal of the season so far. Harry Groom set it up. Of course, he was Wexford's 2022 player of the season, and he spotted his teammate from quite a distance, played a long ball up towards the box. Chris Lyons was there with Feeney, but it was Feeney who got control of it there and slotted it past Charlie Heffernan in the goal to make it 1-0. Wexford didn't take too long to make a comeback. Took just 3 minutes for Aaron Dobbs to get that equaliser. It was Danny Furlong actually who initially tried to shoot from distance. Goalkeeper Alex Moody for Bray got a strong palm to that attempt. Alex Moody, of course, signing from Wexford as well. The ball fell to Aaron Dobbs. He was waiting there unmarked and he pounced on that to make it 1-1. Bray didn't seem too shaken by it. They were threatening, Wexford were threatening for the next 20 minutes or so, and then it was Wexford who actually went ahead. It was James Crawford who whipped in a corner kick, and it looked like he had kicked it directly into the goal, but when you're looking back on it, it looks like Ethan Boyle gets his head to it, slightest nick, so he'll definitely claim it. But it was a bit of a scramble at the back post. But yeah, 2-1 there for Wexford after about half an hour, and it was about 5 minutes before half time when Bray equalised, and it was quite a similar goal to the first one for them actually. Harry Groom again showing that fantastic vision up the pitch to see Feeney. He was on his own up front there. Wexford just looking a little bit shaky at the back, quite exposed there. So Groom saw the opportunity to whip a long low ball up the pitch. It met Feeney and he just slotted the ball kind of between the legs of Heffernan in the goal. So he'll be happy with that one, definitely. 2-2 going into half time there. Both teams had a fair few chances actually going into the second half. Second half wasn't quite as hectic as the first, but only one goal separated them there in the end. Wexford brought on Jordan Adeyemo with about an hour on the clock, but he couldn't really produce a finish. He did get a goal, but about 15 minutes to go, but it was ruled offside. A couple of offside decisions actually against Wexford in the second half, but it was Bray who took the lead. It was about 20 minutes left on the clock. Max Murphy, who got that screamer against Watford last week down at the RSC, he played a long high ball in across the penalty area, met Feeney on the far post. Feeney was trying to get a hat-trick there, but didn't really happen for him. He'll claim the assist definitely, but he tapped it across to Cole Amori-Humfan there, who was waiting in the middle, unmarked, and he slotted it into the back of the net to make it 3-2 to Bray. So Wexford remain sixth in the league with 7 points. They'll welcome Treaty United to Ferry Carrick Park next Friday, and Bray make the trip to Cobh, so they'll be looking to make it 7 league games unbeaten down in Cork.
ExtraTime.com's Aisling Hannon watching Bray overcome Wexford by 3-2 in the First Division. In the games that we didn't hear from so far, Galway overcoming Longford by 1-0. Kerry losing to a late goal against Athlone Town 1-0. The final score there, of course, Treaty United and Waterford was postponed, but rather late. It was 5 o'clock. Now I know there was a deluge of rain and all that, but it must be very frustrating for the Waterford team and indeed the supporters who were going to travel. The table, Galway United are on top. They've got 18 points. Bray second on 12 points. Cobh Ramblers third on 11 points, thanks to that fantastic draw away to Finn Harps. Athlone Town in 4th position on 10 points. Waterford, who have a game in hand, keep in mind, in 5th position on 8 points. Wexford 6th on 7 points. Finn Harps 7th on 6 points. Longford 8th on 3 points. Treaty United 2nd from bottom on 2 points. And Kerry, after 10 games, bottom of the table on 1 point. But again, you wouldn't have expected too much from Kerry this season, and they are showing some very positive signs indeed. So that's the First Division. Remember, a full round of fixtures tomorrow in the Women's National League. At 2 o'clock, Shelburne up against Galway. At 3 o'clock, Bows taking on Peamount. At 4, DLR Waves meet at Lone Town. While at 5 o'clock, Sligo Rovers are up against Treaty United. Just a reminder of how the table sits there. Peamount on top after 3 games with 9 points. Shelburne second with 7. Shamrock Rovers third, also with 7. Wexford U's 4th on 6 points. Bows 5th on 6. Athlone 6th on 3. DLR Waves in 7th on 3 points. Galway in 8th position on 3 points. Sligo Rovers in 9th on no points. Cork City also with no points, and Treaty United sitting 11th also on 0 points. That's almost it from the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Remember, you can get in contact with me via Twitter at Oisin Langan, and of course you can get in contact with Extra Time through all the usual social media channels and the email. You'll find all the information on ExtraTime.com. You'll also find all the match reports from last night, as you listen, in the League of Ireland First Division and indeed the Leinster Senior Cup. Dundalk losing out 4-0 to Shelbourne at Oriel Park. There'll be previews of today's games in the WNL and match reports after they happen. Monday night, it's the big one, isn't it? I'm really looking forward to it. Even though there's a bit of fear now, I think, after France gave Netherlands that trimming 4-0 on Friday night. But still, Ireland always get up for these big games. We always raise our games. We always raise our game when the big boys come to town. And I don't think it's going to be any different on Monday evening. Is that blind optimism from me? Probably. But who cares? This is sport. And very often, logic goes out the window and you can cling on to hope. And hope kind of equals happiness. Hopefully, we're happy on Monday night. From myself, Oisin Langan, and everyone on the extratime.com team, we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.